Hey there, I'm Consequence of Sound film editor Dominic Suzanne Mayer, host of Filmography, a filmmakers podcast. Every quarter, I spotlight a different visionary director and team up with a rotating panel of guests for a comprehensive dive into that director's body of work. From style to performance to the little things you might not have caught on a first, second, or third viewing, Filmography turns the lens around for a closer look at the greatest visionaries of the silver screen. Find us at Consequence of Sound, iTunes, or wherever you procure fine podcasts.
Consequence Podcast Network.
Hey, welcome to another edition of Kyle Meredith With. It's an audio interview series presented by WFPK Independent Louisville at WFPK.org, Consequence of Sound, and the Consequence Podcast Network. Wherever you're listening from, please do hit the subscribe button right now so you can keep up with these interviews and the whole series. I'm Kyle Meredith. Today, my guest, Garry Peterson and Rudy Sarzo of the Guess Who. The legendary band have a new record called The Future Is What It Used to Be. We're going to talk about why they chose now to do new music for the first time in a long time, writing songs about America, as well as playing to their past. There's also an interesting story about how current lead singer Derek Sharp ended up on a plane in a seat right next to former lead singer Burton Cummings, and how that influenced one of the songs on the record as well. It's Kyle Meredith with the Guess Who.
Hi, Kyle.
Hi, Kyle.
It's good to hear from you guys. Congratulations on this new record. The Future Is What It Used to Be. This is some good stuff.
Thank you very much. Hope you like it when you listen to it.
I know it's been a long time for a new record. Why now? What finally brought this up to the surface for you all?
I believe we all felt that the time was right. We've been collecting people in the band for 56 years and changing and morphing, and I think we have the people now, and I think if you listen to the album and look at the whole package, you'll see why we did it. It's because it felt right.
You talk about it, collecting people through the years. I mean, you are sort of in an interesting situation with that, and I wonder, when you're writing new music like this for a new album, with a band like this, do you have to sort of forget about the past? Do you have to throw that out so it doesn't weigh you down for the present?
No, I've seen interviews with Derek and Will who wrote most of the stuff on the and they wrote with this band in mind. They were fans and played this music, just like Rudy will tell you. He played this music when he was learning. It's got a certain feel to it. It's got tight harmonies. It's got little guitar riffs, and it was written to sound like the Guess Who without sounding like the Guess Who. Right. We didn't set out to write American Woman or No Sugar Tonight or anything like that. However, if you listen to the album and the way we recorded at analog and with old vintage equipment, you'll hear our influences, the Beatles, the Stones. You'll hear the Who. You'll hear, and you won't really know it, but you'll feel it more than saying, "Oh, that sounds like." It's who we grew up listening to. This is what inspired us. That album, I believe, is what inspired us to be rock musicians.
Well, you hear that, especially on the first single with Playing on the Radio, which I will always appreciate any song that appreciates radio, so I thank you for that one first off off the bat. Yeah.
Well, again, we were a product of radio. That's how that was our delivery system for our music. And there was no videos, there wasn't anything else except press and radio. Yeah. Which is what we're doing right now.
Well,
oddly enough.
I think what's interesting about that right off the bat is it does have such a classic sound to it. I mean, it's obviously a new song and it's for the right now, but it pulls off that unique trick of almost sounding like it could have been released anywhere in the last, 40, 50 years.
Well, I have to tell you a little story about, have you seen the video for that?
Yeah.
Playing on the radio? Well, I'm going to turn you over to the guy. When I saw him doing this video, I said, that's a rock star. And that's our bass player, Rudy Sarzo. So.
Hey, Garry, thank you very much.
I'll tell you, when I saw Rudy in that video, I went, wow, I'd like to be like that.
Hi, Kyle. I've been making videos since I think my first video was actually Quiet Riot, Mental Health. And there's a certain component when you have great music to perform to on a video, it's just very automatic. So that's exactly what happened to me. And you know, when the video started rolling, you know, I'm playing on the radio, which is an incredible song. You know, so I just got into the mood of the whole thing.
Yeah, it was great because, like I said, at 72 years old, I'm doing my very first musical video. Who knew? and Rudy is showing me the way there.
Yeah,
he's got all that experience with that end of it. It's great to be playing with him, and it's great to be playing with all the guys in our band. They're very talented, great writers, great pop writers. As if you listen to the album, you'll hear from cut 1 to cut 10 the essence of pop music.
No, it's all in there. And even on In America, you know, and I know this is, I mean, it's an interesting time, by the way, just to call a song In America, because there's no way of skirting around that regardless of what you're writing about. It would feel to me, right?
Well, what the song tells you is that in America, you can get anything you want, getting anything you need. The implication is you can have ups and downs. You can go broke. You can come back. And the implication is that you need to work. Yeah. Or work at something in order to have those times.
The land of opportunity.
Exactly.
Right.
And it always has been and hopefully always will be.
Well, it's a lot of fun stuff. I did have to ask about, I read that actually Burton Cummings has a small hand in a song unintentionally on this record. Is that right?
Yeah, I've seen the interview with Derek, and yes, the story is true. They were sitting kind of a connection on the plane going from Los Angeles to Toronto, and both Derek had lost his mother when he was younger, around 26 years old, and Burton had just lost his mother. So I think Derek felt a kinship there, and I think there is some of that inspiration in the song.
Of all the people in all the world to end up sitting next to each other on a plane, I mean, that's the universe doing something right there.
Well, the universe wants everybody to live in harmony, and all living things to be in harmony on this planet of ours, and maybe it has some other hand that we don't have.
Rudy, while I got you there, for you, what's it been like embracing, you know, some of these older songs? How much of it has to be of making it your own versus, you know, serving the, I guess, nostalgia that people have attached to some of those classics?
That is such a good question. I grew up playing Guess Who. Actually, I wasn't playing it very well when I was growing up. Now I'm playing correctly. Plus, I'm playing with Garry, you know, who is the original drummer, so he's on every record. So when I close my eyes and I play any of the songs, oh my God, it's just like I'm listening to a record, but I'm playing along to a record, but I'm on stage with the band. So it's a very surreal feeling, you know, because, you know, I look at Garry and I see him, okay, and probably through his head what's going on is how he actually recorded the song, because, you know, you have to do justice to the song because it's gone through so many filters. So what you hear on the record, it's the correct way to actually play the song. So I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel. Meanwhile, what's going through my head is all the crazy girlfriends that I had at the time that the song was being played on the radio. So, you know, it's really a blessing to be here playing, you know, with the Guess Who.
That's awesome. Before we get out of here, I know as far as anniversaries and classics go, These Eyes hits 50 this year, and Wheatfield Soul turns 50 next year. I know you've got the new record out, but is there any opportunity to any celebrations planned or in mind with any of that?
Well, every night on stage we celebrate the music. Absolutely. It doesn't have to be an anniversary. To us, it's always now, and to play the music now is totally a celebration.
Yeah, to play for people every night, no matter whether it's 300 people or 3,000 people, we play the legacy of the band and all the people that were in the band that helped create that music. And with the new album, The Future Is What It Used to Be, the title indicates that we are trying to create new legacy to add and honor the old legacy.
That's a good answer. That's a really good answer. I appreciate you guys taking the time to talk to me. And again, congratulations on this new record. This was really fun.
Thank you, Kyle. Thank you.
All right, take care. Hey, thanks to Garry and Rudy of the Guess Who. And again, the new record is called The Future Is What It Used to Be. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button so you can keep up these interviews this series. Whether you're listening on YouTube or iTunes or Podchaser for the podcast version, wherever you're listening from, subscribe. Give us a rating if you can. Also, leave a review if you feel so inspired. And then head over to WFPK.org. That's where I do a show every Monday through Thursday from noon to 3 Eastern, and where you'll also find some bonus episodes of this series. I'm Kyle Meredith. I'll see you next time.
Consequence Podcast Network.